Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Elite Real Estate Podcast on this new Friday morning. And if you're listening now or listening later, we are live on KGCI Radio, also live on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and wherever else you can find live streams. But the Elite Real Estate Podcast live every Friday morning at 7:30 on all those platforms, along with KGCI Radio, and super thankful for that. And we have a new guest this morning, guys, and I'm super excited to bring him on today. And you guys hear me say that every Friday, but very excited about this next guest today because he's been on before. He's been on a few times, but today we're going to dive into some new stuff, some different stuff. I got some tough questions for him today. This isn't fluff today. So without any further ado, I'm going to bring in my man, Mr. Curtis Shewell. How are you, my friend?
Good morning, Jimmy. Jimmy Nelson. How are you, my friend?
I am so good. If I was any better, I'd be you. You know what I mean?
I do. And if I was any better, it'd probably be illegal. So I'm a fan.
Yeah, that's how we operate, right? That's how we get through this stuff. Yep, absolutely. So, man, and you've been on the show a couple times. You've been on different podcasts, different things, and I told you I was going to have you on this week, and I said I was going to hit you with some tough questions, right?
You did. I didn't know what that meant, but I said I'm in. Let's do it.
Oh man. So we've all seen you at different places, at different events, and different types of things. But I really wanted to dive in today, and it's a subject which is funny because people that know you and know me, we're going to talk about technology today. How do you feel about that?
That's my strength. Right in my wheelhouse, baby.
Oh man, we got some stuff in this morning. Fadi says, "Good morning, Breakfast Clubbers."
Good morning.
And Ron Pro says, "And MySpace." So he must be available on MySpace.
Yeah, MySpace. There you go. My man Ronnie, Fatty and Ronnie, love them.
That's right. And but yeah, so what people don't understand, and because I've known you for so long, you had a job at one point where you were going to sell computers.
I did sell computers. I sold them when they very first came out. First home computers when I worked for Highland Appliance back then, and much younger days. But I worked for Highland Appliance, and we sold all the appliances. So every new technology that was coming out, we were the number 2 appliance chain in the United States. Circuit City was number 1, and we were number 2 in the country. So we were a big company, and we sold a lot, and it was a commissions job. So it was literally the movies from the 80s. That was us. I mean, Dire Straits wrote that song, Money for Nothing. That was about, he'd went into a Circuit City store. Actually, we always said it was one of our stores. It wasn't. It was a Circuit City store he'd went into, and the salespeople were just like, savages, and he was like, "What the hell? You guys got to move these microwave ovens, these TVs, they move the kitchen, move the, all the appliances." And he wrote in the song that's how he wrote that song. Money for nothing, and the chicks for free, because he was a guitar player. Because one of the sales guys said, he's like, "You guys, man, you guys hustle, you guys work your ass." He goes, "Yeah, you got it made, dude." He goes, "You get money for nothing, you get the chicks for free, dude. You string a guitar and sing in a microphone." He goes, "You don't even have a great voice." And he told him that. And that's how he wrote the song. It was about us appliance salesmen. Well, during that time, camcorders were a big thing, and then the new mini ones, and they were these monster sized ones like you see on a TV, the TV ones, right? And then it got all the way down to these handheld things, and it was like the coolest thing ever. And VCRs and for it was high infidelity. It was so when REO came out, that song was about the actual stereos and the different sounds, so 4-track and things like that. So we had that, and then the day come out one day, these reps come in, and they're like, "Yep, here you go. These are your new home computers." We're like, "What's a home computer? That's stupid." And this tower thing was like 3 feet tall. And we're like, "What are you doing? It's this wide, and it's this giant thing." And the monitors are 9-inch amber screens. Like, these look terrible. This is stupid. Yeah.
Nobody's ever going to buy a home computer.
I said that. No one will buy these. They're dumb. And they were like $6,000-$7,000. Yeah. It was like, no one's going to buy these. This is stupid.
Yeah. And now look at us.
Oh yeah. I was the same guy that when they came out with the cell phone, right? They weren't called cell phones. They were called portable phones.
Yeah.
And the portable phone came out, and we had a bag. It was in a bag, and it literally had a phone with a cord connected like your home one, but your house phone had, but it was connected inside this box in the bag. and you had to take this bag with you in your cars, and you could get the installed version, and you had to pay like $1,200 to install it. And at Mickey Shore Radio, where they put out the car stereos, that's who was installing them for us. And when you did that, you had to pay all this money, and these things were thousands and thousands of dollars. And they were like, $6, $7, $8 a minute to talk on the phone. And you could only, like, if you're driving down, let's say, Gratiot or Telegraph or Grand River, these main roads, you could drive, and you couldn't get cell service until, you hit 8 Mile, you're good, until you get to 9 Mile, and then you lose it, but you'll pick it back up at 12 Mile, and then you can talk again until you get to 13 Mile. The towers were only, the radius was so small. It was terrible.
And you had to plug them into your cigarette lighter.
Oh, yeah. You had to do small. Yeah, for sure. And I said, I was that guy. You can quote me on this too. These are stupid. We have payphones. People can pull over and talk on a payphone. Why in the world would you ever have a phone in your car? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. That was me. Oh yeah, I was quite the journeyman going, oh yeah, I can visualize these things. Yeah, I had no vision.
Yeah. And now, and again, like where we're at now, it's funny because, again, you and I have known each other for a long time. Like working and like I remember, like even just a couple years ago, like bringing in technology, and we talked about funnels, and we talked about the rise of AI and all these things, and still we're at that age where we kind of fought at the beginning. We kind of like we're like, it's not, just stop, right? Like just give me I'm good with my laptop. Like I'm good with that. I don't need anything else. And we probably use our phones at 50% capability of what they're actually used for. that might be the most. And so it's like because we're that generation of this was all new to us. You know what I mean? Like this whole thing. When I was in high school, I took a typing class on a typewriter. But the funny thing is that I look back now, that's why I type so well. It's because I took a typing class.
I took that class. I didn't learn how to type though.
She just let me bring in the funny thing is, and here's how old it is. My teacher used to let me. She hit me on the sweet spot. I learned a lot about teaching people, but she let me bring in the sports page every day, the newspaper, and she's like, just retype the articles you're reading. Genius! I learned how to type because I just retyped the articles out of the Detroit News.
She was smart.
Yeah. So with all of this technology and all of the things that are happening, you and I have talked. The toughest thing we're facing right now, probably in our industry, is technology, right? Mm-hmm. It's the best and the hardest thing that's adapting so fast. So, do you think agents today have a bigger advantage over agents like 20 years ago?
Oh my God. Yeah, 100%. If you think about how it used to be and how it is today, it's massively different. And what I mean by that is you used to have to hope clients drove down the street and saw your building and said, oh, there's a real estate office. Let's go in there, honey. Let's go find a house. Let's go talk to them, see if we can find a real estate broker. And everybody went to the broker, and then the broker had agents, and it was just different. And, they had a book, and you would literally have to flip through a book, to look at pictures of houses that were for sale. And you're hoping that the one that's in there was still for sale because they hadn't taken the picture out of the book yet. I mean, crazy stuff. And that's how they did it. There was no internet. And, that was the rise of Keller Williams, their fame. And, Gary Keller was this pioneer because he understood that this internet thing was going to be something everyone would use in real estate. And people are like, again, stupid, guys that were really smart like me. Oh, yeah, it's dumb. That'll never work. That's not going to happen. Of course it did. And he was right. And he helped agents brand themselves. Or I shouldn't say he allowed them to brand themselves. And this is where it went. And today, we say, meet your clients where they are. Where they are. They're all online, right? Who's the number one player in real estate? What's the number one name in real estate? It's Zillow, right? Zillow owns people's mind space, the space in their mind of where they would go to find real estate. I went to my kid's old high school, and I went in there for career day, and they asked me to come in and speak to the senior class, and I did. And when I was talking to them, I asked them, I said, okay, if all you students, so these are, 17-year-olds, some were 18. And I said, okay, if you had to go look up how much your parents' house is worth right now, your house that you live in right now, where would you go? Every single one of them, bar none, every one of them says, oh, I would go to Zillow. And I said, yeah, it's exactly where your clients go. So all of our clients go to Zillow too. So technology is really driving this whole thing. And agents like me, especially as old as me, are like, yeah, I'm not doing it. I don't need that. I don't need it. I'll just keep doing it this way. Well, okay. And it will drive right past you is what will happen. So technology today, I 100%, I took that word never and threw it out, right? Well, but so those are three losing proposition words. I threw them out of my vocabulary. And then I threw out the word never because I said that so many times, I'll never do that. And I do all of that. And I do all of that. I'll never make these mistakes that my parents made with my kids. And I made them all, right? And, and that's just how it works. So I get it. And I don't say it. In technology, is going to continually grow and change because we have the next generation and then the next generation and Generation Zers, whatever that next, I don't know, Jimmy, what's the name of the next generation coming behind them? Do we even have a name for them?
I don't have any idea if we know one yet. Like I know there's millennials and there's Gen Z, and then I don't even know what the age breakdowns are anymore. I don't even know. I don't know. Like I just know I'm Gen X apparently, and that just means we're crabby and mean. I don't know what that means either.
Right, because we're not our parents and we're not our kids, and we're somewhere lost in the middle because we want to be friends with our kids. And not that you shouldn't be friends with your kids. I just think that's a horrible thing. I mean, friends need friends, and the Generation Zers are so prone to the technology. They struggle to communicate in the same vein that we did. So we see this as them struggling. They don't see it as them struggling. They'll sit in a room sitting at a table and they'll be texting each other, talking to each other here. And then they're laughing like, oh, that's really great. And then they're back to this. They're not even communicating this way because that's how we did. So we think they're wrong. They're not wrong. That is what's happening. And that is today. So technology, real estate, mortgage, everything in housing, you name it, it's all here. Look at the cloud companies. Who generates and who actually just literally controls everything. All the top companies in every industry there is, every business there is, are the cloud companies. If you're a cloud company, you will win if you have good leadership. You have to have good leadership. But if you do, you'll crush everybody. So this AI stuff is absolutely dominating. And the ones who are embracing it already, you don't have to be great at it. I am not. And when I was in Dallas last week, that was the number one thing that I walked out of there with. Holy smokes, I'm learning this, the chat GPT. And I wasn't sure if it was GPT or GBT. I wasn't sure, but apparently it's GPT. And then I was coaching a group the other day and I asked them, it was like 30. And I said, what's it stand for? And they're like, well, it stands for chat GPT. I'm like, no, I know it's GPT. What does the G, the P, and the T stand for? They're all like, I don't know, it's ChatGPT. I'm like, oh, okay. You don't know any more than I know. I think I'm okay now. So it let me realize there are very few who really are running with this. And there's a whole bunch of us who are like, oh yeah. So it's not about the ChatGPT. It's about creating your personal assistant, creating the GPT. Glenn Sanford, founder of EXP Realty, the first cloud-based real estate company, he created this cloud-based environment. Well, he is always cutting edge out in front of this stuff. And I got to sit with him we had a little coffee meeting with him for about an hour and 10 minutes. Me and Randy Bird were sitting with him and we were just going through this stuff and he was showing me these things. And I was literally like, and he kept looking at me. He's like, he calls me Curtis. He was like, Curtis, you really got to, you got to really learn this. And I'm like, show me. And he did. And it was amazing. And I was like, okay. And he looks at me and he goes, I think even you can figure this out. I said, you get me. I love that. And I said, you know what, Glenn, I can. And this is so cool. He created his chat GPT twin. So it's called Glenn's twin. And it says, you ready for this? Now, you remember, this is a man running the #1 real estate brokerage in the world. Do more transactions than anybody else. The only one the original cloud company. We're the Amazon, right? He built this thing. No one's going to catch it. No one's going to, everybody's trying to duplicate, just like everybody's trying to duplicate Amazon. Nobody's going to catch them and do all that. But this is where people believe. So that's okay. Competition drives great advancement. So we always want competition. Keeps you sharp, keeps you on the front edge of things. However, at the same time, so I didn't mean to be disrespectful to anybody that way. But at the same time, he's got to be out in front of all this stuff. Well, when he was doing it, he now created his ChatGPT twin. So he's got his AI assistant, which is Glenn's twin. His staff, ready for this? His staff, Jimmy, can literally, if they have a question that they want to ask him, they don't get to ask him. They have to go to his twin and ask his twin. His twin will respond to them. If the twin says yes, there's somehow that it tracks everything. If the twin says yes, they run with the project. without even asking Glenn personally. And if he's like, whoa, what the hell are you doing? What are we spending? What is this? And he's like, no. As long as I go, no. Your twin said yes. That's why I ran with it. And he can stop it. He can run the company and stop it. But he said, I will give forgiveness to anybody who went to my twin and my twin said yes. And you ran with it. I'm okay with that. You can ask for forgiveness. I'll give you forgiveness. He goes, but if you don't ask my twin, there'll be no forgiveness. And he is so on it. And so I played with it and I asked it all kinds of stupid shit. And it was funny because his twin told me no on everything. Like, no, we're not doing that. Yeah, you can't do that. No, that would be illegal. And no, that's unethical. And that's that. I'm like, okay, I can't do it. But I tested the heck out of it. And he was sitting right there laughing. It was amazing. Jimmy, we're talking about running a multi-billion-dollar company through AI. Through AI. Crazy. How amazing is that? He said it got him back 60% of his time. He goes, he works 40% of the time as far as meetings and conversations because his twin handles everything before it gets there. It's so amazing.
It's so crazy that it does that. We got a few comments rolling in. I'll play these. I'll get these in a second. But one of the things that it's so amazing to me is to boil that down and for people to understand, either they're listening now or later. But what that does is it takes the emotion out of it. Mm-hmm. There's no emotional, rash decision by Glenn. And Glenn's not an emotional, rash guy, right? But we all have emotion because we're humans, right? And we all have a different feeling during the day of how we're feeling or, whatever else. That doesn't. That just makes calculated decisions based on what he's put into it. And that's it. There's nothing else to it.
Yeah, we have an expression, right? And Jimmy, you know this one. We've been working together for a long time, and your feelings will lie to you. The facts don't, right? Yep. Your feelings will lie to you. The facts don't. So that's
built on facts. So Jeffrey Garner says rock star in the house, and then we got a couple interesting ones coming in.
Thank you, Jeffrey.
Somebody asked, "How old are you?" And that was.
Are you serious? What in the heck is she doing on this thing?
And then Jeff says, unfortunately, Sherry, I remember them as well. And this is going back to what we were talking about with the home computers and the typing and the phones and everything else. So, So I'll bounce that one back up there for you. We'll throw that back on there for you.
How old are you? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's my lovely wife. Isn't that
That's your lovely wife that said that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, that's great stuff. Great stuff. But so all this being said, right? All these changes in the technology and the AI and all those things coming in, it's the most distracting thing for agents too, because now what do I focus on, right? Do I focus on building my chat GPT that's going to answer all the questions for somebody, or do I spend time with a client? Like, what do we do? And so if you were to start again today as an agent, where would you focus? Like, what would your first thing be? If knowing what you know now, what would you do first? Jumping into the business as an agent today.
It's so awesome that you asked that. I literally met a new agent. His name's Vinny. What a cool guy! I met him yesterday. He got his license. He's a brand new agent, but he's had some really good jobs and he's had some high sales jobs. And the guy's he's been successful at what he's done. And now in his life, it's just took him down a path that's brought him into our real estate space. And he wants to really do this. And he's got a book of business. So I think he has a chance to do well. And it's not easy to get into this game today, starting off today. However, he's I don't know his exact age. I'm going to guess he's probably about 40, right? And this guy is dynamic. I really like this guy. And he's got that radio voice. And I just sit across him. He's talking and I'm getting lost in just listening to his voice because he literally sounds like that guy on the radio, with this incredible deep voice. And, it's like, wow, it sounds cool as hell. And I'm like, dude, you're going to be amazing on the phones. But we were talking and he asked me, he says, all right, I'm brand new. I am 100% coachable. You tell me day one, what am I doing? And I'm like, I love this. So to answer your question, what I exactly told him was this. I said, the first thing that we have to do is you have to understand that if you're going to build your business. And I asked them all the questions, we had a great interview. Why are you getting in this game? What are you looking to do? What are you trying to do? And he wants to, like everybody, well, I need freedom. I said, okay, well, you're not going to get freedom until you make a ton of money. So you'll get flexibility with your schedule. So let's make sure we identify what the difference is. Some people refer to it as freedom. It's like everybody, if I ask you the question, and you've done it many times too, Jimmy, you ask an agent, what's the thing you need more than anything else? They all say support. And that's the number one answer. But the reality is, well, what does that really mean? What kind of support, what they really need and what they're getting at, they really want more leads. That's the number one thing that people really need in this business. They just don't have enough leads, which is why they don't sell enough homes. But the truth is, it's really not even the lead. They don't know what to do with the lead when they get it is the problem. So you can give them all the leads and they just can't convert. And then it's the leads suck, right? Oh, they're lousy. Those are the bad leads. Give me the Glenn Gary leads. Give me the good ones. Like give me the Gucci leads. Like, guys, any lead that will talk to you, anyone that picks up the phone, anyone that actually engages, that's a good lead because you have the ability now to find out what they need. So I told them, first thing you have to do is become very good at asking questions. The better the question you ask, the faster you'll get the result you want. So you need to make sure you're asking really good questions and stop worrying about what you're going to say back to the client. You don't have to worry about that when you understand the client. It will become a very natural conversation. You will not have a problem answering their questions. If they want to get technical with you about some different things about building houses, you have to be educated in what you do. You can't be in an industry and expect to have massive success without having industry knowledge. You have to have some knowledge. You have to have some basis for what it is that they're looking for. Georgie, one of my very best friends, he used to say to me all the time, you don't even care what the house they buy. You don't even care about the house. And I'm like, no, why would I? I'm not living in it.
It's not my house.
I care about them. And he's like, I care about them too, but I care about that house and I go through it and I make sure they're fine. Like, dude, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. So I'm not trying to say he's wrong. It's just, I never believed in that theory. I don't buy into that because I believe that I can help them better if I just focus on what it is that they want. I don't have to care which house they buy. I don't have to care if I like the house or not. I don't have to care if I like the kitchen. They have to. Right? It has to fit their needs. And how many times do I want to buy this, but I need this? Well, I got to go get the thing I need. My wife tells me all the time, so she's still listening. She'll chime in again on that. Like, stop buying all this stupid shit and then buy the stuff we're supposed to really have and, take care of your needs first, right? Because our wants and our desires, here goes back to that emotion you were talking about. It dominates. So I told them what we need to do first is you need to understand how to reach out to your clients, and technology is going to get you there faster than anything else. You have to embrace it. And that's what I told them. So there's a long answer to your short question. That's the first thing you need to understand is the technology is going to allow you to reach out to more people and to be able to follow up, because the fortune is in the follow-up, and 90% of the real estate agents out there, they have no follow-up game whatsoever. So you can reach out to 1 million people, but your follow-up game sucks. You're not closing anyone.
And I want people to one of the biggest things that I plucked out of that too is better. You said better questions will lead you to faster results, right? Like that. Mm-hmm. That is such a key thing for people to realize. And you and I coach this all the time on our morning call every day, but it's asking more questions leads you to more closings. Like it just does, right? Like the more questions you ask, the more things you do. And again, agents tell us all the time, I need more leads. And you and I both have the same answer. You don't need more leads. You need to convert. You need more clients, right? So you need to convert those leads that are coming in. You have a whole thing of leads. If you have a cell phone, you have leads, right? Like if you have a cell phone, you have leads. Those are leads, right? Yeah. You have to convert them into clients. And so that's one of the biggest things that I think the technology thing moving as quickly as it is a benefit to agents. I don't think it's a hindrance. I think it's a benefit to agents because now I can get more information faster than I ever could. Yeah. Right. I could get more information now faster than I ever could before. Right. And so
can your client, Jimmy. So can your client.
Correct. Right. That's the thing.
They don't need you because they're looking up stuff through technology and they're giving you answers that you don't even have. That's why Zillow is important to you. You better be looking at what Zestimate says because that's what they think their house is worth. It can be as whacked out as can be. It can be so far off, but that's what they believe.
Yeah, I just had a client yesterday. I had a conversation with them, a potential client. It was a lead that I converted into a client now.
Sure.
But as I was converting them, that's what he said to me. They were just kicking the can down the road. They're just trying to figure this thing out. If they decide to move, if they don't, And so I went through this whole. I had probably a 35-minute conversation with the guy because I just kept asking more questions. I found out that he's married. He has 2 kids. His daughters are 7 and 9. They're looking to stay in a specific school district. He's driving them there, but he wants to move to where a bus is. In a 30-minute coverage, I found out all this information, and then we got to the point where he said, I looked up our house on Zillow, and his estimate says, $495 or whatever. And I was like, yep, I was waiting for you to tell me how much Zillow was going to, he said. Exactly. And he's like, you were waiting for me? I go, yeah, I was just waiting for you to tell me how much Zillow was going to.
Because you knew it's coming.
I knew it was coming.
Yeah. There's my contacts. That's how many leads I have right there.
Yeah.
4,076, 59 duplicates, right? So take out 59. So there's 4,000 leads I have sitting right here. If I literally texted just 25 of them every day, just 25 of those, just grab 25. It'll take you about 25 minutes, right? If it takes you that long. And you literally just go right through it and literally text them, hey, hey, Jimmy, good to put their name in it so they see it's personalized, and put their name in it so it's personalized. And hey, Jimmy, haven't talked to you in a bit. Wanted to reach out. I was just hoping to see if there's anything I can do to help you. If you're looking to buy or sell anything, at your house, whatever have you. Just something simple like that. I mean, it doesn't have to be some, well, hey, Jimmy, now I've got this contest, and you don't have to do all that stuff. You can. I don't really care. I mean, you can if it works. But you know what works? Reaching out. You know what doesn't work? Having an excuse to not reach out. That doesn't work. You'll never close it. And then you can say these leads suck. Well, these are all your friends. This is your sphere. This is your group of people. So they suck. Well, that's on you, right?
Yeah. Well, and again, it goes back to you'll have a client become a friend faster than you have a friend become a client. Typically, that's just the world we live in. So
that's another thing I would teach. I'll be talking to Vinny today because he starts today. And one of the things I'm going to tell him there is, your client's not your friend. Do not make a mistake. Your client's not your friend. When you are at the closing table and you're handing out keys and kissing babies, now they're your friend, because I got to get referrals out of them. I should have already got one from him, but if I haven't yet, that day I'm getting my referrals, because we're not leaving that room until I get a referral out of that client, because that's when they become your friend. They are not your friend. And agents screw this up all the time. Well, I was trying to do this for him and then that for him, and then I wanted to have, so I had to give him half my commission. Like, stop. I want to be your friend. You want to give me half your freaking money? That's stupid. Like, what are you doing? This is what you do for a living. What are you doing? Doesn't make any sense.
Right. Yeah. No, and I'm looking down over here because I've got some more questions. But one of the things I want to hit you with, right? So with everything that's shifted online, right? Where are you seeing, or how are you seeing top agents attract talent? Like, as we're trying to grow and develop teams and everything else, and everything being so virtual, like what are the things that you're seeing that to attract agents, right, or to attract clients too? Because it's literally the same. It's literally the same thing. Like, people get that so twisted. It's literally the same thing, whether you're attracting clients or whether you're attracting agents to help grow your teams. Mm-hmm. With everything shifting virtually, like, how is that? Where are you seeing the advantage of all that being virtual now, or online at least?
Yeah, I think what online does for us, and all the virtual and the AI stuff, what it's doing is it's really guiding you, and it's helping you if you'll pay attention. And what do I mean? What I mean by that is, I was doing the same. I've had reasonable success doing this, and I did it by just the masses, right, and just get up there and screaming your head off and and get your attention and bring them in, and you look like that wiggly thing that they put on the building, like, hey, we're having a sale, So I did that, and I made that work because I wasn't afraid to keep doing it, and any repetition will give you success. So I became repetitious at doing it, and you start having success. And if you throw enough at the wall, you'll get some to stick. And that's kind of the idea that I did, because it's the old school safe way of doing it, right? Just safety in numbers. Well, the reality is I've become so much more effective at it. And grown substantially because of this. And what this is understanding, if you use the technology, the AI really helps me out, because what I do is I use the tools, and you know this because you do it the same way. And I go through and I look at what is that the agent really needs. So I can be the cheap guy on the block. Hey, cheap, free everything, and it's like, oh my God. And there are groups of people who fall for that. And they're like, oh my God, yeah, that makes sense. Yes, let's go cheap. Like, no, that's not good. Why would you ever go cheap? But this is they convince themselves that it makes sense. Warren Buffett, one of my favorite, quotes from him, out of my 3 favorite quotes, or Warren Buffett quotes, are the one, it's, you can never save your way to wealth. And people are like, yeah, but I got my cap down $1,000. And what did that do for you? Well, what do you mean? I saved $1,000. Well, then I even asked these agents, like, did you even cap? Well, no. Well, they knocked $1,000 off your cap that you don't even hit. What did they save
Right.
you? They saved you nothing. They can knock it in half. You didn't hit that. So what are you talking about? Like, it gave you nothing. You saved zero. No, Kurt, you don't understand. They saved me $5,000. Were you paying that $5,000 and now you're not? Oh, well, no. Right. So what did they save you? They saved you nothing. Like it's a shell game, and they got you to believe this, which I don't know who's worse, the person that said that crap to you, or you for not realizing you can't do math. Like, come on, what are you thinking? What happens is we go after agents and we think we know what they want because they want cheap, and we're going to save you money, and we're just as good as them. We're just cheaper. Okay. My wife taught me that cheap is usually cheap. If you pay more, and I'm not about paying more, but if I buy something that's a higher quality, not paying more, higher quality, I have to pay a little bit more. Uh-oh, there we go. Lost me for a second. If I don't know what happened. A higher quality, a higher quality is probably going to cost me a little bit more, but I'm willing to pay a little bit more if the quality is that much better. And I challenge people all the time, like, oh no, so I say, okay, what kind of car are you driving? And if they tell me I'm driving a Kia, awesome. You got a great car for a price, right? You got good value. I'm totally down. And I'm not poo-pooing on that. And these people that drive, Mercedes Benz and, these cars that are hundreds of thousands of dollars, God bless you too. Why did you spend that when that Kia can get you over there? Well, I'm riding style. I'm this, I'm that. Okay. So you're willing to pay for it if there's value to it. And what we find, or what we make the biggest mistake I've found, is when you're trying to attract or recruit or, build a team or build your brokerage or whatever have you, the biggest mistake people make is we think for the agent because we think we know. So we decided we do know. So therefore our feelings are lying to us. And I'm going to tell them every cheap thing I can. I'm going to save you money. Look what I'm going to give you. You get all this for nothing, and it's free, right? Or it's flat fee, or it's 100%. Really? Are you charging them some fees? Well, yeah, but it's 100%. Well, not but. Give me but. That means you're not. So don't tell me yes you are and then no you're not. Well, Kurt, it's still better. Like, well, what's better about it?
Right.
What agents think is I'm going to attract somebody with money. If that's the reason I attracted them with, I can save you a couple of pennies or a couple dollars or a couple $1,000. That's what they're going to leave you for. There's always going to be something cheaper. So if that's what you're doing, well, wait till you see what's going to come with the AI brokerage. You're going to see one that's going to call themselves AI brokerage. I guarantee you're going to see somebody with that kind of a name. And
for sure,
it's coming. And they're going to work there, and they're going to go, yeah, this is the greatest. Well, if you know how to use the tools and there's value to those tools, so at the end of the day, the problem is we keep thinking we're going to save these agents by giving them this, and that. That is not what's going to build you an empire. It's not. You have to build it on solving their problem. No, Kurt, I'm giving them a great opportunity to save this money. That's not an opportunity. There's zero opportunity in that. What happens is, and I was doing the same thing, so don't get me wrong, I'm the biggest culprit, right? I've learned from everything I did wrong. So what I was doing was I was focusing on opportunity. Look, because I was trying to do, and this is what me and George differ on when we were selling houses to people, right? Or helping people buy and sell. The truth was, I didn't care about that. I cared about what they wanted and helping them get what they wanted. I just found that made more sense, and I'm doing them a better favor in my mind. His mind, if he really gets down deep and cares about it the same as them, he's going to give them a great experience. Both work. he gave them a great experience. His clients love him, right? Do my clients love me? I don't know. Did they like me and give the value I gave them? Yeah. And they trusted me, and then I did good for them. So most of them are very happy, and I got referrals. George, same thing, but he loved on them, and then they gave him referrals too. So they both sides can work. Well, I kept trying to help people with an opportunity, because that's what I wanted. I wanted an opportunity,
Right.
real. I knew how to sell homes. I didn't need somebody to help me sell homes. I knew how to do that. I needed a better opportunity for me to build something for me, right? Warren Buffett, right? Either you figure out how to build something for you, or somebody's going to hire you to build it for them. And that's what most people do. So when I looked at that and really understood it, and Gogo says that quote all the time, and she lives by that, and she's so right. Well, when I thought about that, and it finally resonated with me, and I was actually talking to Dave Kennord, and he said it to me, I've heard the same thing 1,000 times, right? And then finally somebody says it to you, the same thing, just slightly different. It clicks, and you're like, oh my God, how was I not seeing this the right way? And it clicked. Agents, we think they want opportunity, because if I ask you where your pain is, you won't tell me where your pain is. You'll tell me where your symptom is, right? You'll tell me the symptom. You won't tell me the pain. You'll tell me the symptom. So we chase fixing the symptom. We never fix their pain, because we don't get the real answer out of them. Well, it's not like they're lying to you. They don't really understand it. They understand the symptom. This hurts. Yeah, but the real problem you have is you don't have this. Oh my God. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, no kidding. We're asking bad questions. Stop asking people where their pain is, right? Start asking the right questions, and you'll get the answers to where the real pain is. So there's a whole science to that, and there's a series of questions. And if you go through your technologies, it will help you understand this. It makes it really simple. But what happens is we go down this path. If I got a better opportunity for you, and I've said that 1,000 times. So agents that have talked to me, Kurt, you always told me, you have this opportunity. Well, I do. But the problem is, you're not looking for an opportunity. You're looking for somebody to solve your problem. So, right? 80, and here's the numbers. It's 84%, only 16% of the agents out there. And we have this for fact based on what we've seen and what we built. So it's a model that exists. 16% want opportunity. 84% want you to solve their problem. You know what their problem is, Jimmy? I need more leads.
They need more leads.
I'm trying to sell another house. Help me sell another house. Well, that's how we make money. I get it, but they're missing the entire picture. So they're saying, yeah, I want that best opportunity. I'm going to go here because it's cheaper. It's a better opportunity. There is no opportunity. There's zero opportunity. But they went there to solve their problems. They think that's going to somehow help them sell another house. Are you going to sell another house because you got a place to work that's cheap? No. Well, then what did you just do? You ran after a shiny object that has nothing to it. It's like mist. You can grab it. You can see it. You can see mist. But can you grab it? Can you hold it? Can you do anything with it? No. So this is what's happening. We're not solving their problem, but we're giving them this opportunity to save money. What money? You're not saving anything. It's so when you can look back at it and stand up and look at it, it's so silly. So technology, how it ties in, can literally lay out, here's everything that you really need. Isn't this what you're looking for? Yes, that's the opportunity. No, these are the tools. Can you use the tools? And do you have a follow-up game? Right? So we think that they're looking for opportunities. They're not. They're looking to solve their problems. Solve their problems, and you'll become everything for them. And now I can actually help change their lives. I can give them everything they've ever wanted. And then we can look at what an opportunity lies for them. And maybe it's here, maybe it's somewhere else, right? Everybody's not fit for everybody.
Right.
And that's okay. And we keep thinking, oh, no, this brokerage is for everybody. No, it's not. It's not. Get over it. It's just not.
Yeah.
It's not for everyone.
No, it's not. And to unpack a few things there, one of the things that you were talking about the value too, right? Like the value, what's important to me is not what's important to you, right? And what's important to me is not what's important to another agent.
Correct.
And so you have to find the value, and every brokerage brings a different value to you. And so what value are they providing that's going to bring the most important thing to your business? And I had an old mentor, sales guy, friend of mine, Owen Miller, rest his soul. But Owen used to say, good, fast, and cheap. You can only pick two.
Yeah.
Good, fast, and cheap. You can only pick two, because it kind of went back to your car thing, right? You can get a good, cheap car, right? It's not going to be very fast. Right? Yeah. It's kind of how it is. Now you get a good, fast one, but it's not going to be cheap.
No.
So good, fast, and cheap. You can only pick two. Right. So it's incredible when you start to think about that, and what brokerages, all of them, are providing some sort of value somewhere. Right. Sure. Every one of them has a value. It's that then deciding on you as an agent, which one is the most important one to you, which one is going to fit you. I had a dentist on the show a couple weeks ago, and he said the same thing. He said, every patient is not for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wow, that really struck a chord with me too, because I say that to agents all the time too. Like, not every client is your client, right? There are some clients that I probably shouldn't work with, and I know that. Now, again, early on in your career, when you're just trying to start a business, yes, give me all of them, right? I'll figure that out at some point, but give me all of it. And so this technology thing now has advanced everything so quickly, where you can. And again, I always caution agents too with social media. And I know you're very big on social media, and you put a lot out on social media. And I always say, be cautious of what you're putting out on social media, because that's what you're going to attract.
Correct.
You're only going to attract what you're putting out. So be cautious of what you're putting out there, because you're different things, and people are going to view you differently based on whatever you're putting out there. So just be cautious of what you're putting out, because that's what's going to come back to you. Right. And so our friend Dante Rosa says, loving all the different voices today. Are those the voices in Dante's head? Or are those?
I think he's hearing the voices in my head. That's a scary set of voices. So thank you, Dante. I'll try to keep those voices more silent, so I don't want to scare everybody. It's a scary place in my head.
Yeah. Right. Oh man. So, but yeah. So all these changes that are coming, and we're living in a virtual world, and whatever else. But what is it? What is it do you see is how difficult is it as far as like being a coach and a trainer and a leader like you are? What's the difficulty in that, is like far as like the technology that's come with that?
Yeah.
Has it been easier for you to work with that stuff, or has it been a little more difficult because of as much technology?
I found it was very difficult for me at first because I didn't embrace it and I fought it, and when you're not, when you're trying to get around it, and you're trying not to do things, you're going to spend more time trying to not do those things than it would have taken you if you just did those things. And I'm that guy, and I'm like, oh, I can get through that wall. No, Kurt, there's a door over there. No, I can get through the wall. Yeah, well, you probably can if you bash your head through it for a while, but you can go through the door. No. And then I go run into the wall. And then I'm like, God, that hurt. My head hurts. Man, I got a red mark. Oh, now I'm bleeding. Now I need stitches. I'm going to go through the door. Why didn't you just go through the door to begin with? Well, because I could go through here. It's like, I've always been that guy, like dumb as a box of rocks. Like, why do you always make it more difficult? Ask my wife. She'll tell you. You always make it more difficult. And I always have a reason, right? Because my feelings lie to me like crazy, because that's what I want versus what I need. What I needed to do is go through the door and get over there and get it done. The technology is opening the door so you can go through there and get it done right now, real easy. Take 5 minutes. Now, my son, Jamie, he brought this up to me just recently. And he said, he goes, you know what, the best thing you ever taught me? And I'm like, oh God, where's this going to go? I'm like, I don't know. Tell me. And he goes, take the 30 seconds to move this stuff out of your way so you can carry this stuff through that doorway. And I looked at him and I remembered having these conversations with him, because he would always do things. I'm like, James, stop. If you just took 30 seconds to move this stuff out of your way, you could move this stuff really easy, instead of trying to navigate and lift it and carry it around it. And why are you making it so much more? You created an obstacle course to walk yourself through when you could have moved it and just went right in, done. You'd be done about 45 minutes ago. Why did you make it so much harder? And it was funny. My wife's like, you ever going to take any of your advice? You give great advice. You ever going to take it and listen yourself? And I'm like, well, no. Why would I use my own advice? Because I'm giving good advice. Why would I do that? So what I realized was that if I can take the 30 seconds to learn how that tool works for me, oh my God, did I just amplify it out? I'm actually shocking my assistant, Brooke. She's fantastic, right? And I bury her with every shiny object idea that pops in my head. And she's like, can we just get this done here? And can we do this? And I'm like, nope. And I have them called my bubbles, right? And I draw my whiteboards, like these things here, and I'll sit here and start writing all over these things and stuff. And I'm like, here's my, all right, there's this, and I'm working on this, and I wanted this, and then there's this, and this, and Jay Kinder really said it great in a mastermind I was at in Cleveland last year called Agent to CEO. and John Kitchens runs that, and it was amazing stuff. And the thing that Jay had said was, I have like 8 amazing ideas. I had 10, I cut it to 8, and man, are they good. And he said what they were, and you're like, oh wow, yeah, those are awesome, man. Any one of those are like, wow. And he goes, you know how many I can get done? Yeah, 0. He goes, think about it for a second. Well, if I put 25% of my time on that one, oh, good. I have 7 that I have to divide the other 75% of my time in. So that means I can give each one, 10%?
Mm-hmm.
How good am I going to be at anything if I'm giving it 10%? Think about that. Just digest that for a second. If I give 10% of my attention and my time to it, how good will it ever be? It'll never be good. He said, so if I go down to 3 and I divide my time into 3 groups, I work on this, I work on this, I work on this, then I work on this, I work on this, I work on this, back to this, and back to this. I can get shit done, and I can do some really cool stuff because one of them will dominate your time. And what'll happen is 75% of that time will go into one of them, and you'll split the other one by 10%, and they won't get done first, but this one will. And as soon as that one's really going, all of a sudden now you can grab the second one and make that, oh, look at this, because now 50-50. And then that one dominates and gets 75% of the time. And what do? You crush that one, and then you got the third one, and now you can put 100% of your time into it. He goes, that's how you win. He goes, and that's why you'll see the people that win. If you really go down and stand back and look at what they do, that's how they do it. He goes, and it's about the focus. He goes, and if you focus, and there was that movie called Focus, right? The movie where they were, pickpocketing and stealing people, but it's
Will Smith,
right? Yeah, Will Smith movie, and it's about, and if I touch you here, you don't feel me grab you here, because I've got your focus here. Well, if your focus is here, you'll lose here, and it's really about losing, not winning. It's if I'm not focused here, I'll never win. And if you can focus on something, so many people have, your superpowers and your talent, but you don't ever execute on it, and you never realize the true value of your talent because you're too divided in your space and your time. If you could focus, you're amazing. My wife says it all the time. Man, when you focus on something, she goes, it's fun to watch. You're fun to watch. She goes, when you're you're spinning and spinning. She goes, right now you're so spun, your head's in so many places. And she gets mad at me. And I'm like, why are you so mad at me? Look what I'm doing. And and then I'm like, damn it, I hate when she's right. She's right every time.
Well, again, that's why your wife and my wife get along so well, because my wife says the same thing to me. Like, she's like, you got a lot of irons in the fire right now, which that means I got way too much happening, right? Like, that means there's way too many things happening. And again, because you're so right, you get distracted. Like, it's almost a distraction then.
Yeah.
Because you're not focused on anything. You're focused on a bunch of things. And there's no such thing as multitasking. No. Right? People assume you can multitask. People say they multitask. They don't. Right? You can have a couple projects going at one time, yes. Mm-hmm. But that the project that's getting your attention at the time is getting all of your attention. And if it's not going well. You know what I mean? If it's not doing the right things. And when you get distracted, that's when bad things happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we talked about it, it's like sand through your fingers, right? You're trying to hang on to it, but it just literally just running through your fingers, like you try to pick up sand with your hand. It just all runs through there because now you've got too much. And so that's, again, it goes back to the technology stuff. And the technology stuff can be a big freaking distraction because it's the agents, we get so hit with so many shiny objects. There's a new lead source. There's a new AI. You can get this assistant. You can get virtual assistants. You can have somebody dial for you. You can have leads provided for you. You can do this. You can do that, right? You can get all these things for free over here. All these are just freaking distractions. And it takes away from the actual thing that we're supposed to be doing, is taking care of our clients and selling more houses.
Yeah.
Right. It just takes away from all the other stuff. And again, guys, whether you're listening now or whether you're listening later, Kurt and I know this stuff only because we've done it. We've screwed it up enough times that we're saying don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
And it's happened recently to me, where stuff happens, off the court issues, right? Like things happen in offices and whatever else, and all of it becomes a distraction from actual things that. And I had a conversation with Austin Chevron, a good friend of ours, about this. Mm-hmm. And Austin was like, you're taking away from your money-making time. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And when you start taking away from your money-making time, all of a sudden that becomes a big problem.
Yep.
Right? Because again, money problems aren't real problems. They're money problems.
They're
Right?
financial issues. Yeah.
They're financial issues.
Yep.
And you can fix those, right?
Yep.
You can fix a financial issue. You can
Yep.
those are all fixable. So those aren't real problems, those are fixable.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when you get distracted, you can't. Because now you got too much going on up here, you got too many things happening out there, and all of a sudden now it's taken away from your money making time.
Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. The thing that the technology piece, Jimmy, and I go back to what Glenn Sanford just told me last week in Dallas. It was another like literally aha moment for me, and I'm hoping that that's one of those ones that in 10 years I'm like, I remember that day. That changed everything for me, because what he showed me was on the technology, and you said it right. You can get into this technology rabbit hole and go down it and just get lost, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like gopher holes everywhere, and you could just go so many directions and go crazy and never do it. I had a phenomenal conversation with my buddy Mike Sherrard, and I know you know Mike. I really like this guy a lot, and because he's 30, and I'm like, God, if I could just go back to being 30 and doing this, because he's got this energy, and I'm like, I have this energy, and I was that, but he's so much smarter than I was at 30, and I'm like, man, if I was running with this kid when I was 30, man, oh my God, it would be crazy, right? And he's hitting it out of the park because he focuses on this, and it goes. And after I talked with him just this week, after the conversation with Glenn last week, so Glenn last week really got my head in the right space. And then Mike's conversation really helped add that final cap piece. And he's like, Kurt, if you're going to do that, perfect. Get really hyper-focused and get that piece done. And you can do that in a couple of days. You can do it in a week. And then at the end of the week, by next week, here's what we're going to do. And I'm like, he's exactly right. He's exactly right. And what Glenn was saying was, he showed me, he's like, Kurt, because I asked Glenn, where do I start? What is my, oh my gosh, all this GBDD, GPT, I don't know how to spell all this stuff, GPT. All right. So if I start with a chat, GPT, he goes, yeah, you got to create your virtual assistant. And I'm like, oh, okay, wait. Is that a GPT? He goes, yeah, but no, but yeah, but no, but yeah. And I'm like, okay. What do I do first? And then he showed me, here's what I would do first. Just learn this little piece. That's all you got to learn. And I was like, wait a minute. What about learn this little piece? I'm like, is that all I got to learn? You just learn this little piece. I'm like, okay. Because then we'll do this, and you'll have this, and boom, you will become just a machine. And you and I were playing with this, I don't know, I want to say maybe a month or even 2 months ago, 6 weeks, 8 weeks ago. And you were like, oh yeah. And I was like, what is that? And you were laughing at me. You remember what I'm talking. I know you did. Yeah. And I'm like, wait, give me that. And you were like, well, I can't give it to you. You create it. And I'm like, no, give me that. And you're like, share this with me. And he's like, you were like, well, I am. You got to go just create this. And when I talked to Glenn, I'm like, oh, now I know what Jimmy was talking about. Yeah. So I actually added you into that in my head. Jimmy popped in when I was talking to Glenn. I'm like, oh man, now I'm getting this. And then it got me excited. And I came back and I'm telling Brooke, my assistant, holy shit, this is going to change this is going to be some really just incredible changes for me, because now I'll be way ahead of the game, and I will be able to free up so much time, because I am the biggest time waster out there. But this is going to change everything. And I just have to do the one thing, which allows me to do the second thing. Now it's in play, and watch me go. And I promise to all my friends out there that laugh at me or whatever. Well, here's Al. Made my distractions as days before. I feel like a pinball and everyone's controlling me with the flippers. Al, spot on, right? Yeah. I got so much clarity last week. Al, that was me. 10 days ago, I said the same thing with you. You're so right. The clarity I got from Glenn put what Jimmy had said to me 8 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago. And now it made sense, right? Because it didn't make sense to me then, Jimmy, but it makes sense to me now. And then when I talked to Sherrard, with Mike, it's like, oh my God, this is the direction. Here's the clarity I needed, man. So it's pieces, right? You had got it in my head, and I'm like, man, that's cool. And then Glenn made it a reality, and this is how you do it. And then Sherrard's like, focus here and put it together. And I'm like, oh my God, I am super geeked. I am really a geek, but you have to kind of like close that door, block everything out, and just focus on that. And I'm committed to doing that, and it's going to be so cool.
You do. And that's so the reason I wanted to talk technology today with you was for this exact reason, right? Because agents need to see that we struggle with this too, right? That we struggle with time and scheduling and all the things we like. This is not a thing that we can, we don't get up and coach and train and teach because we don't do these things. We get up and coach and train and teach because we've done them, right? Like, there's a reason I have scars on my head. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
I don't want you to have those, right?
Correct. I have the scars, so hopefully you don't have to get those.
Yes. I ran through the wall 6 times and there's a door right there. You know what I mean? Like I could have just walked the door once. And so that's where this whole thing goes. And that's why I wanted to do this today, was because I wanted to show everybody, like, technology is here. It's here to stay. It's growing. It's moving faster than any of us could ever imagine. I was talking to somebody about the AI and the Chat GPT, and somebody said, Chat GPT right now has an IQ of about 200. Which, think about that. Like, it's got like a 200 IQ already because it's just learning. It's learning and learning and learning every day. Yeah. And so if you're not adapting to it, you're behind, right? Yeah. And if you're not adapting to it, it's a thing that has to happen. And it's funny. I had a former basketball player of mine yesterday. He's putting in for a job, and he needed a cover letter, and he needed references and whatever else. So, talking, and I go, "You're using ChatGPT, right?" And he's like, "Should I for this?" I go, "Absolutely, you should be using it for this, right? Like, for your resumes, for your cover letters, for all of the things, like, you should be. It's going to write way better than you, first of all, right? Second of all, and I said, don't just. And I had him send it to me before he sent it in, because I'm like, it will write better than you. And you don't necessarily want it to do that either, because then when you go sit down with someone that's like, wait a minute, you're a dummy and you wrote this? Like, that doesn't make sense to me, right? So yeah, it goes to adapting that stuff. But I wanted to hit on the technology piece because it is changing so quickly. And I wanted to show everybody exactly, like, we have to adapt to this stuff, because if not, we're just going to get left behind.
100%. I'll drop 2 more things in here on the end of our show here that I got out of Dallas last week too. That was like just amazing stuff when it comes to this. Lauren Rosen was sitting next to me at our table. I was sitting between Lauren Rosen on one side of me, and I had Justin Havern on the other side of me. I mean, you want to talk about some powerhouses, right? She's one of the biggest agents in the country, and Justin Havern runs literally the largest team in all of Canada, right? And he had the largest team inside of all of Remax in the world. Guy's a beast, right? He's freaking awesome. And he's laughing at me, and I'm like, would you stop laughing at me? And he's like, why are you writing all these notes and taking these pictures? And he goes, use the infinity thing, or is it called infinity, or not? Whatever it's called. I think it's called infinity, right? It's a thing that literally listens to the conversation.
Oh, yeah.
And transcribes it for you. I'm like, wait, what is that? He goes, that's listening to us. And he goes, watch. And he clicks on his screen and on his computer, and there it is. And it's literally our conversation is pulling up on the screen. I'm like, what is that? And he goes, I'm listening. I can be in the moment. I'm totally following this because I'm not taking notes. It's taking the notes for me. And I'm like, wait a minute. And I'm like, I am scratching as fast as my pen can write. And he goes, I used to do that too, Kurt, except for what are you going to do when you go home next week? Where are you going to find that notepad? And then you're going to go back through it, and you're going to reread through it and remember exactly what we said between and what those notes actually mean. I'm like, oh my God, you're really pissing me off here. Because you're making me feel so stupid. I'm like, that's exactly what I'm going to do. And in 2 years, I'm going to pull this up and go, oh my God, remember this thing I was at? And he goes, yeah, I got to stack those notepads too, Kurt. I'm like, I'm missing a notepad, right? I'm like, oh my God. He goes, yeah, check this out. And then we had a break, and he goes, all right, Leo just got done talking. He's our CEO. He gave some great information, great stuff. And he goes, yeah, here. And he puts it in his thing, and he copies it, he pastes it, puts it in his Chat GPT, and he says, he goes, organize this for me. And he literally organized it. And then he said, organize it in a way that I could re-explain it. And that's what he said to his Chat GPT. And then it rewrote it. And it still had it organized for him, broken out. And literally in the way that he would be able to explain it to his team. Then he said, take the pieces out that I would give to my salespeople, take the pieces out separately that I would give to my leadership team. And it did in about 40 seconds. And I was like, give me that. Give me that. And he laughed, and he's like, here. And he sent it to me, and I could look at it. Lauren goes, here, let's do you a post right now. I'm like, you know how to do this too? And she's laughing at me. She's like, yeah, you're so funny. They thought I was the entertainment of the day at the table because I was a dummy there sitting there because I don't know the technology. And I'm like, oh my God. And then she goes, yeah, here, let's do your post right now. Pull up there, do this, copy this, paste that, put this in here. She goes, okay, now, are you happy how that looks? I'm like, yeah, that looks great. And she goes, no, Kurt, what's your superpower? I'm like, and I'm sitting there like, I don't know. I don't have any superpowers. What are you talking about? She goes, you're very bold. She goes, you say things. She goes, we all resonate to you because you're very bold. You'll say the things and you'll back it up because you're very passionate about what you believe and you'll make a case for it. Even if you're right or wrong, it doesn't matter. You're making a case based on what you believe. She goes, and you're genuine, you're authentic. And I'm like, okay. She goes, tell it that. I'm like, tell it what? She goes, oh. She grabs my thing and she goes, be very authentic to me, think like me, and be more bold. And it rewrote my post. And it put red things and check marks and exclamations and X's. And she goes, now read it. And I read it and I'm like, oh my God. She goes, isn't that exactly how you would say it? And I'm like, that's exactly the way I would say this. And she goes, great. And I'll post it. I go, how do I do that? She goes, hit the button. And I clicked on it. I did my own post. This is the first time I ever did my full own post. Usually my wife does it or my assistant does it. Right? And I put it out there and I get all these responses. And I'm like, and she's like, oh, you got a great post out here. I'm like, oh my God, how cool is that? And
oh man.
I'm like, I have to be able to do this. So she's like, I'll trade you. I'll teach you how to do these so you can really actually be able to do these on your own. If you help me with understanding how to approach my agents on helping them build their businesses. I love my boy, Jeffrey.
Well, man, brother, this hour goes by so quickly. I appreciate the time, my friend. We are, again, live every Friday morning at 7:30 on KGCI Radio and on all the platforms you can find us on social media, the Elite Real Estate Podcast. Find it anywhere you find podcasts. We will be back next Friday at 7:30.
Woo woo.
We are out.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Failure's just a stone, not a wall we can't pass. Embrace the unknown, let your heart lead the score. The future is ours, knocking on opportunity's door. Breaking through barriers.